Hart Trophy winner, Stanley Cup champion, Hockey Hall of Famer, one of the most feared players to ever patrol an NHL blue line. He's Chris Pronger. Progs, if you were in the Leafs lineup tonight, on the heels of what Sam Bennett did to Anthony Stolarz in Game 1, how would you handle tonight's game?
Well, I think first and foremost, they need to stay focused on winning the game first, number one. Number two, though, you're gonna take his number. There will be plenty of opportunity throughout the course of the game, the series, to even the score, if you will. Find him with his head down, coming through the middle, going along the boards. It is a physical game. There'll be plenty of chances to, if we want to call it exact revenge or take liberties, whatever you want to call it. But I think Toronto needs to play their game. You can't get caught up in focusing your energy on Sam Bennett and focusing your energy on how the Florida Panthers play. You got to focus on how you play. What is your team identity as the Maple Leafs, and stick to that. You can't get distracted with some of the nonsense. Stay focused on first and foremost exactly what you needed to be successful in this series, and then ultimately move on and advance and get to where you want to be, which is the Stanley Cup.
Progs, I love that little sly smile where, like, you know what I'm talking about. Let me ask you more specifically. You're a player that didn't mind protecting your own goalie, certainly never backed down, 8 suspensions in all in your career. But on the flip side, you also worked for the NHL Department of Player Safety. What would you rather see in a situation like this? Ask the league to clamp down more to protect goalies, or would you rather the league to give you guys a little more leeway to police it themselves from a player standpoint?
Well, I think we've already seen this year in the playoffs a number of situations where goalies are, you're driving the net hard as forwards, as defensemen. Uh, I would argue we've seen harder hits to goaltenders than what we saw the other night to Anthony Stolarz. Unfortunate situation. You hate to see a player leave a game in that manner, seeing him over by the bench in distress, throwing up and things of that nature. You don't want to see that happen to any player. But you also need to realize that those are the high danger areas. Those are the high traffic areas in and around the net. That's where a lot of players earn their keep, make their money, and that's where they do their best, play the best game that they know how. Look at a player like Corey Perry in Edmonton. Look at a player like Matthew Nyes in Toronto. In and around the blue paint, they need to be very intimate with the goaltender at times, and you will bump them. But as a defenseman, let's say, and put myself in that shoes, it's incumbent upon me to move you out of there in any fashion necessary, sometimes within the letter of the law and sometimes not so much. And you need to straddle that line sometimes, and sometimes you need to cross it. At this stage in the season, you don't want to cross it. Sometimes you have to in order to get your point across. But, with where the Maple Leafs are at in their season in this series, their focus needs to be elsewhere, and that's winning the hockey game. Take a number, and we'll see what presents itself later on in the series.
Okay, as a guy who did it, and again, you got that sly smile coming out right now. In the moment that it actually happens, the second Bennett does what he does, what should happen in terms of the Leafs blue liners to say, he's not doing this again? What should happen in that exact moment?
I'm not sure they actually saw what happened. You see your goaltender laying on the ice. I'm not sure. I think everybody in Toronto wants to see a response. They want to see bloodshed, if you will. They want to see. I think Brandon Carlo may have been out there in front of the net. They want to see him cross-check him in the back of the head. They want to see him. I don't know if that's the right response in that situation. They're rolling in the game. They're playing really, really well. It looked very matter of fact. It's not like he took a huge run at the goalie. He took one step towards the net. They're on the power play. He takes one step towards the net, bumps into him. It wasn't a violent force that struck Anthony Stolarz. It was unfortunate. And, the outcome looks bad. But again, that's a play, the bumping in front of the net, in front of the blue paint, in and around those high danger areas. That's something that happens all the time. As far as a response, if you're asking, should he have done something? I don't know if you do something in that moment. I've seen other times. I can recall we played LA in the playoffs in the mid '90s. Jeff Courtnall ran Jamie Storr hard, knocked him out. They didn't know he was knocked out. Sean O'Donnell, who played for the LA Kings at the time, jumped him, got a 5-minute major. The LA Kings were winning that game 4-1. We went on to score 3 goals in the power play and ultimately win the game 5-4. So should they have done something in the moment? I would argue probably not. I would say you're going to take a number and you're going to hopefully get a chance to see him down the road in the series. But in that particular moment, I don't think you can risk the chance of getting a 5, risk the chance of getting suspended. They need all hands on deck. They need everybody available in order to beat this star-studded Florida Panthers team.
All right. Overall, the team overall, for years now, the Leafs have been great in the regular season, but have just gone flat in the playoffs. You went to the Cup final with the Oilers, the Flyers, and the Ducks. You won it all with Anaheim. What was the key to a team that could go deep? Do you think this version of the Toronto Maple Leafs finally has it in terms of what a team needs in order to go deep?
Yeah, I think it's the depth. You look at all the teams that win the Stanley Cup, they're deep. They get secondary and tertiary scoring. When I look at this Leafs team, you look at the players that have stepped up and scored big goals for them. Matthew Knies has done it all year. You got Max Domi scoring an OT winner. You've got Bobby McMahon. You've got it's not only the core 4, if you want to call it that. They're getting scoring from the back end. Morgan Rielly had a big goal in game 1, and then you've got the defense of the stalwarts back there. Tanev. You got OEL scoring a big goal. You got Benoit scoring a big goal. You've got Carlo providing solid defense. You got Jake McCabe laying his body on the line. They've got a little bit of a different makeup than they have in years past, where it's been all offense, very finesse. They've got some meat and potatoes guys on the back end to really, protect at times. Funny we're having this conversation about that, but defend, protect, and play a little bit more of a meatier game back there. And allow the forwards to kind of do their thing, and they can play solid defense in the D zone. But I like what Chief's done. I like what Mike Van Ryan's done on the back end. Mark Savard up front. The power play has been pretty good at times. Other times it's been a little suspect. But I like where they're at. I like their focus. They're not worried about the distractions, where at times I think they would have been pulled into that. They let Chief kind of do what he needs to do and talk to the media and the gamesmanship of kind of trying to play the referees and play the league and things of that nature that we've seen time and time again over the course of the playoffs in years past. And they need to just focus on the game, what they need to do, how they need to play to be successful and beat the Florida Panthers. And that's what I like, is just where their head's at, their focus, and really blocking out all the distractions that can happen at this time of year.
Listen, you mentioned repeatedly how much you like what Craig Berube is doing with this Leafs team. What about the role of the captain? You wore the C for 3 different organizations in the National Hockey League during your career. What's the role of a captain when you start to try to accomplish something that this franchise hasn't accomplished now in a very long time, especially, as you mentioned, in the core 4 era?
Yeah, I think it's been since 1967, if I'm not mistaken. There's a long history of sorry to bring that up, folks, but long history of heartache and failure. But with all that being said, all those failures come a lot of lessons. And if they're able to apply them, and I know Austin Matthews has had his fair share, as has Tavares, as has Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and the organization for that matter. And I think as these playoffs continue and you see the resolve that they have, the way that they're going about their business, the way that they're not buying into the distractions and really staying focused, as I mentioned earlier, that speaks to them learning how to handle these moments, learning how to really keep their eyes on the prize and understand what's at stake each and every game, each and every shift. The momentum swings of these series can be massive, and really just staying present, because you can really lean on a lot of those adversities that you faced to help get you to the promised land and gain confidence. And we're seeing that, them kind of exercising their demons and getting past Ottawa, where they lost. They were, I believe it was 1-12 in games where they could close it out. Then it was 1-13 in games that they could close it
Yeah.
out, ultimately before they won in that game 6. And so just getting over that hump and now gaining confidence, it's like a little snowball rolling down the hill. They're going to gain more and more momentum and confidence. And I think that's exciting as a fan base when you're watching that happen and play out. You really start to feel your chest come out, your shoulders back. You feel good about yourself. You feel good about your team. And the more they put themselves in those situations, the more opportunity they're going to have to find success. And I think we're seeing that. And now they have to come up with a big game, too. Florida's going to come with a much better game. Bobrovsky will play better. So they need to come with their A game to be successful in game 2.
Chris, this has been fun. Thanks for your insights, man. Always good to hear from a guy who's been there and done it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Gino.